Blessings, everyone. It's been a while since I've done any oracle readings or any card pulls, and it's kind of a in and out nudge from Spirit today. I did a crystal singing bowl in the Kyuchi for the throat chakra. They were really encouraging to put blue on today. There's been a very powerful message throughout the day of know thyself, and that was one of the things before I started the reading, when I was doing the crystal bowl, that Spirit was very adamant, as I was sitting today just listening, that they were explaining that not do they only want us to obviously take time and ground and connect with spirit world, but they're asking that we take that time to sit and connect with our self here, our human self, to sit and connect. It doesn't have to be that we're going on a walk in nature or sitting for an hour in meditation or anything that is what we usually do when we're connecting with spirit, but just sitting with ourselves, even if it's just a moment to remember what it feels like to be inspired, or to remember what it's like just to be quiet and allow ourselves to think. Because when we spend a lot of time connecting with spirit, we're meditating, we're clearing, we're doing all the work, we're listening, always trying to raise up the vibration. And so Spirit is saying, sometimes, I know I've been going through that feeling where it feels a little disconnected, or maybe that blank mode when it's like you've been through a lot of work or a lot of up-leveling, and now it's kind of like in a space where you're here. And so Spirit is saying that to be in this space is honoring this, the human aspects. And it's so very imperative and simple to do this each day. Sometimes we forget because we're so in an expanded awareness now where we want to connect with spirit. We want to hear answers. We want guidance, clarity. We want to feel that peaceful feeling. We want to feel that inspiration. But part of the whole point of being here is the presence. And sometimes it's hard when you're doing all the spiritual expanding to remember that even just the simple act of being in your backyard and listening to the birds as us, for no other reason than just listening to the birds, can bring us back to the space we need to be. Because Spirit is saying, what is the point of doing all this work and being connected so profoundly in the spirit world, in the higher levels, in the higher frequencies, if we haven't learned to incorporate that into our day-to-day activities or experiences? It's imperative, because if we can know the keys to the universe, but if we are not able to share that or express that in a way that many people can understand, not just those in expanded consciousness, but even to integrate that into ourselves and know thyself. How are we learning about ourselves? How are we knowing thyself? By going into these meditations or the certain rituals we may do. All of these things. It's so imperative. It's kind of like they're giving me the analogy, it's time to walk the talk, literally. So with that, I would like to say thank you to Source for allowing me to be a medium of light. And I ask the guides to bring through a simple message today that I may channel and help all for the highest good. Thank you, I'm grateful. And this is the Fortune Cookie Oracle. I love this deck. They come with a simple little message, maybe validation for the day. I like to pull it for the collective. And I just shuffle the cards 3 times. First time is in honor of the source energy. The second shuffle is in honor of spirit energy, higher self. And the third shuffle moves the energy of the soul. That's the little part, that small fragment of us in the spirit realms that comes here to tell the story. It helps to guide the personality and expands our clarity. So sometimes spirit will just, they're saying, take this one. Opportunities. A stranger is about to change your life. Exciting times and plenty of action, plus a special family reunion looks likely. Actually, what spirit is coming through with is, don't let the stranger become you. And what they're saying is that the stranger that's coming to our lives isn't actually a physical person, but it's that recognition we have in those moments when we're kind of feeling like we've lost ourselves a little. And it doesn't have to be so profound like the things that we used to love doing, we no longer do anymore. Although many of us have been experiencing these things. Maybe we love to play guitar, write poetry, take photographs, paint. Maybe we love dancing or baking, and life happens. Or maybe we don't have that spark of inspiration, and we try to go back to that space, or do the things that used to connect us into that space and inspire us, and it's just not vibing anymore. It's almost like when we look in the mirror, it's that stranger. And Spirit is saying that's the imperative of know thyself, to reconnect with self. Because all these things sometimes, they're still there. It's finding a new way, because we're all involved in change. Every day is change. We're always expanding in our consciousness. It's finding new ways of finding that inspiration. It's finding those new ways to see the spark of inspiration. Maybe the old things we used to do, listen to music, and that would inspire us to dance, or go for a walk and look at the animals, and that would inspire us to take photographs. All these things that we just associate with each other. It may change as our frequency changes and our consciousness expands. It takes a little bit more to get that phoenix fire growing inside of us, so we're inspired. So the encouragement is indefinitely to know thyself. Take time to remember, to center, not to worry about meditating, not to worry about getting clarity and all these things that we do each day when we're connecting with spirit, but to connect with the person, the personality. Remember what makes us laugh. Remember what inspires us to be creative in some way, or whatever it is that has become the stranger. And a special family reunion looks like it's going to take place. Spirit is stepping forward and saying that the reunion doesn't necessarily have to be blood family, but it could be a reunion with the self. As we remember and look back, it's okay. They're always saying we're worried about staying present. We're in the now. We've all mastered this at some level. But it's okay to be a little bit nostalgic. It's okay to look back a little bit and just go over the things in life, even if it's just in thought, that you've explored and expanded in, that's created that spark. Because sometimes it's not so much the action of what caused us to be motivated, especially in our creativity. It's not that we got up and danced, and it's not that we sat and listened to the music, or it's not that we went on that walk so we'd be inspired to take photographs. But it's that feeling that we're searching for. And so it doesn't matter. It could be anything in that space that we're remembering that brings back that feeling. Because let's face it, Spirit is very, very strong with this. It's the emotional movement inside. It's that tug of the heartstrings. It's that moment when you feel the rush, when you almost feel like you're outside of yourself, or that feeling that you're falling madly in love with something or someone. Or it's that feeling of surprise and awe that brings that raging phoenix fire inside of us, that opens that heart space, that propels us to create something, because the first thing we want to do is share that with everyone. We want to somehow express the inexplicable, the inexpressible. And that's what creativity is. It's like the seventh sense. Forget just the sixth sense. Now there's another sense. And what is the seventh sense? The seventh sense is know thyself in that space. It's learning how to connect with that emotional space in a free-flowing way that allows us to be inspired. And that could be a mirage of emotions and sensations. It doesn't have to be specifically one. It could be a whirlwind that just opens us up and makes us want to share that in some way. And so Spirit is saying today, as they're pulling back, reconnect with the personality, reconnect with the inspirations. Don't let them become a stranger that has to knock on your door one day. And don't depend on others to find that space for you. Yes, we're inspired by our favorite musicians, actors, photographers, artists. But remember, that's inside of us innately. And it doesn't matter what we're creating. It could be the most beautiful meal of the day. The creativity is that emotional space of recognizing what ignites us and brings us that joy. So I thank you for allowing me to bring this message today. It feels good to reconnect with everyone as well as Spirit. Much love and many blessings.